Good Tov, good morning. We continue with our 3-minute daily dose of Torah. Yesterday we were focusing in on the fact that the Torah tells us a few times over that Yitro Chotein Moshe has come, and we understand the point of that story, that he hears what happens and he brings the family back together with Moshe. That makes sense. That's the story that we have in front of us. But there's another story that we have in front of us. And I think it's implicit in the question that the Midrash asks, which is, Vayishma Yitro, the Torah says, Vayishma Yitro, Yitro heard, Ma Shmua Shama Uva. What piece of information did Yitro hear that caused him to come? And you'll say, what do you mean? The Torah says, Ki Hotzi. I mean, he heard everything that God had done for the people. Ki Hotzit Hashem and Yisrael, Mitzrayim, and more specifically, that God had brought Israel out of Egypt. So that's what he heard. Why ask any other question? And the answer seems to lie in the second story that we have here. There are two stories happening at once. Story number one is the family man father-in-law bringing his daughter back to his son-in-law. Story number two is the story of the Kohen Midian, the priest of Midian, who comes to Moshe and here sings God's praises and then offers sacrifices to God at this moment. What is that about? Says one version of the Midrash that simply doesn't ask, Ma Shmua Shama Uva, but more specifically, Ma Shmua Shama Uva V'nitgayer. What is it that he heard that caused him to come and choose to become a convert? Wow. That is a very different version of a story. And here you have that example then of the Torah, in effect, telling you two stories at once, two stories involving the same person. I come as the father-in-law of Moshe for the family purposes. I also come as the Kohen Midian who's in seeking and searching. There is an interesting midrash, excuse me, that is troubled by the fact that Moshe finds, when Moshe first meets the daughters of Yitro, the daughters of the Kohen Midian, right? He sees that they're being abused by the shepherds at the well, and Moshe steps in and basically protects them and takes care of them. They're being abused by him. What do you mean? How can they be abused by him? He's after all, he's the community rabbi. Who picks on the community rabbi's children? That's a terrible thing to do. And the assertion there is that he had already withdrawn himself from his role of being the Kohen Midian. He had chosen out of this idolatrous practice. And so you had, and therefore he was kind of open season, his family, for the abuses of the rest of the people who were disappointed and angry at him for turning against them and their faith. But here then you have is a story of a man who's searching and seeking. And when he hears all that God has done, wants to be part of it. That's version number two. Tomorrow we'll conclude this discussion with some of the interesting answers offered as to what it was indeed that Yitro heard that made him come. Have a great day.